Greetings, David McKnight here, and I'm very, very excited to be bringing this masterclass to you. The science of getting hired, and more specifically, so you have a career on command. I believe that there is a science to getting hired. I also am here today to share with you 5 steps to getting hired in today's dreadful job market. It is dreadful. It's terrible. It's a challenge for many people out there. And I imagine you're here because this is a challenge for you as well. So I want to make sure that you're in the right place. This master class is for those senior professionals and executives who are currently struggling in a job search or trying to decide what job to search for. I do believe that senior professionals and executives are faced with some unique challenges in the job market, lots of different reasons. I also think that some are struggling with deciding on what job. They've been in a job for many, many years, and now they're faced with the daunting challenge of changing job careers, and it's not easy changing after many years. If those are a couple of the things that you're challenged with, then this is the right place for you. In the next 45 minutes, we're going to talk about how to get the focus and clarity of the role you love and have employers convinced you are the perfect fit. Yes. Focus and clarity is a huge key to this. We're going to talk about that quite a bit, and I do think with that it leads to an opportunity of you being in a position to convince employers that you're the right fit for them. How to leverage employment assessments to work for you, not against you. It's probably contradictory to most of what you believe right now. I believe there are some approaches, some very clear approaches that we can leverage those very same tools that employers and sometimes unfortunately use against us to help you to be far more effective in the way you're going about your search and your efforts towards getting that job you want. We'll also talk about how to create your branding and effectively use resumes and cover letters so that hiring managers want you on their team. We'll talk about how to create and maintain a LinkedIn profile that attracts, keyword, attracts recruiters, HR professionals, and hiring managers. How to interview with confidence on the phone, video, and face-to-face. The interview is what we all want to get to. That's really sort of like the final step, I guess, in that process. And it's a time to do it with confidence. We're going to show you how. We're also going to help you discover the hidden job market and more effective ways to compete. The job market is a bit crazy right now. As I mentioned, it's broken, and there are a lot of jobs out there that many of us don't even realize are there. We're going to help you find ways to tap and to discover that hidden job market. My promise today is to provide you the exact steps to help you get hired. This is the recipe. It's a science. For many, this is really a culmination of many years living it, breathing it as an employer, as a recruiter, and as an executive. We believe we know we have the exact steps to help you get hired. So, does this sound like you? You feel stuck in your current role? A lot of this is what we do. You've been in the role maybe for many, many years. How do you get out of it? How do you take on that next opportunity? How do you get unstuck? Chances are you've been successful for many years. But today, as you're trying to look out there, it seems like nobody wants to hire you. It's just strange. The world's flipped upside down, and it absolutely has. And we need to look at it in a very different way. You are trapped in job board hell. I can't think of very many people that aren't experiencing a lot of challenges with job boards. And if you're probably waking up every morning and checking those job boards, you're probably trapped in job board hell. You are struggling to create that perfect resume and cover letter. What is perfect? Maybe perfect isn't the right word, is what is effective? What is going to get you through the door, past HR, in front of that hiring manager, and the hiring manager excited to be talking to you? You're wondering if you are using LinkedIn to its full potential. Well, if you're not wondering, you probably should be, because there is a method to doing this. You might probably are feeling overwhelmed by networking. It can be very overwhelming. How do you network? I mean, most of us we're all told we got to get network, we got to get out there. But it can be extremely overwhelming, even if you enjoy the social aspect of it. To be effective, to know you're using your time wisely, there are effective ways to do that. The job search has left you stressed and tired. It's impacting your finances, your health, and your well-being. Your family and friends have started to avoid you. Hell, even the dog starts to look at you differently. I don't say that flippantly. I actually felt that way myself. You feel like you're on an island. It is not a place for any of us to be. If any of these things sound like you, then I have some really great news. None of these things are the real problem. They are all symptoms, the outcome of a broken system, and you not knowing that there is a different approach. You are not alone. But you can be different and change your situation. But's not a good word. You have to be different in order to change your situation. That's what we're talking about, finding that difference. So the real problem, when it comes down to it, is that you haven't made what I call the 5 shifts. These 5 innovative ideas geared towards the challenges that senior professionals and executives are facing in today's market. So once you've applied and conquered and have leveraged these 5 shifts, you will have complete control over the roles you want or need and who you work with. Yes, complete control. It puts it within your reach to get that sense of control and actually get control. And not just of any job, but of the roles you want. You begin to attract the right people. After all, this is really probably at the heart of it, right? Attracting the right people to you. This is an attraction process. We're going to help you show you how to do that. We're also going to help you clearly communicate your value. After all, I mean, that's what, that's how we start to bridge that gap, right? It's the communicating of the value you bring to the employer. We're going to make the job search process work for you. Not an easy, it doesn't feel like an easy task, but there are effective ways. There are absolutely effective ways that this job search process can work for you. Gain the skills you need to serve you well into the future and build a career you love. The outcome here, this approach that we're talking about is not a one and done kind of a thing. It's not a quick Band-Aid. We're talking about lifelong changes here. We're going to give you the skills to apply to your future efforts. This might be the next job you get, might not be the last job. I mean, I got a lot left in me. I'm sure there's a lot left in you. So giving you these skills that you can apply again and again, I think will give you that control so that you have control of your future and build a career that you want. take the right action to get control and value back in your life. And then the big key is the value back in your life. Stop the treadmill, stop the spinning, stop the wasted time, stress, get that value back. So a little bit about me, and just a little, because this is really more about you today. My name is David McKnight. I have had the sincere pleasure of serving a handful of companies and over 1,000 people. I've been a CEO, a COO, a CFO, a founder, and a business owner. I spent my career building teams and hiring people. I'm probably the guy that you want to get in front of to get that position. And I'm all over LinkedIn. You can certainly look me up there and discover a little bit more about myself. The last years I've been on this mission of doing executive and professional recruiting. I've really found a passion for helping employers build teams. And it's given me a chance to really look at the challenge from a different lens, getting to know that challenge of helping professionals and executives position themselves to get that right role. I have led companies that have hired over 1,000 employees, directly have hired hundreds myself, placed dozens over the last few years, and really at all different levels, all the way up to C-level roles. There's really a variety of different types of roles. So when you look at this, I think really what I'm trying to bring to the table here is something a little bit unique. I respect the career coaches out there, and I think they bring some value. I look at myself as a little different than a coach, more as a mentor. I'm bringing really 30 years of experience to the table. As an employer, I bring that inside information of how what it takes in order to get on a team. It's really, I think, a different kind of skill set, a different kind of focus. I'm going to bring really the insights of that to you, those 30 years of experience. So let's talk about discovering these 5 shifts. So there are 5 shifts you must make to separate yourself from the competition and get hired. I'm going to walk you through all 5 of those shifts on today's session. The first shift of these is what I call getting crystal clarity. For many, I think it's going to be probably the most critical of all 5. It's, like a lot of things, that vision, that clarity, that focus really sets us up on the path of success, and it applies here greatly, whether you're still struggling to find that career or you already have a pretty good idea what you're looking for. Believe me, there's an opportunity for each of us to get a little bit more clear on that search and get that edge. Results from your career search will benefit significantly by getting this clarity. I mean, with that focus, you're going to be able to take a much more effective use of your time to apply that to your search. And the bottom line is employers cannot and will not help you with this. I mean, they're expecting you to walk in with this focus. And believe me, they'll smell it out if you're coming in and say, oh, I can do all these zillion things, and chances are you might be able to. But you need to be able to walk in with a clear focus. They need to understand and see that you have that focus. And they're not going to do a whole lot to help you and mentor you and guide you on that until you're on the board, and then they're going to invest more in you. But day one in that interview, you've got to walk in with that focus. All right, so let's talk about assessments. And generally, my experience is very few people have had great experiences from assessments, and many people, frankly, believe they suck. They're confusing, and they're filled with silly questions. They seem to be really used against you, both in the screening process and performance reviews. And I get it. I've seen it. I wished, I feel I have a real passion for this topic because I really do think there is a great deal of value. Unfortunately, it's not being used really to the full potential out there. The goal here is really looking at this challenge of assessments from the other side. We're going to use some of the same assessments, but give you flip the process and give you the inside perspective from the employer. You don't have to guess. I mean, a lot of these assessments, you take them, and sometimes you get feedback. Most of the time, you don't. We're going to give you all that feedback, the total inside perspective on what these assessments are telling us. And then the key with that understanding is to leverage the results for your benefit. To me, that's just like profound. It really is a huge opportunity that a lot of us do not get the opportunity to really understand of how to use these very same assessments and use them for your advantage. So we can identify where you with these assessments, where you'll be swimming upstream or downstream to in your career. Now, I say that also with believing deeply in people, and that people are able to set their mind to really any role and accomplish it. But along that path, if we can know what some of those challenges might be, or where our strengths will lie to help us get there a little faster, that deeper understanding is just going to help us get there faster, bottom line. And I think we can bring that understanding, that clarity to you with these assessments. There's also an opportunity to help you with powerful communication strategies that you can use immediately in the interview and your networking strategies to help you create better communication. A lot of it ties down your ability to communicate. We can help you do it more effectively. We can also help you overcome the objections we talked about earlier. Some of these assessments show up there's some concerns or reasons not to hire you. You're going to know what the perception may be going into this and be able to position yourself in a far stronger position that those objections are going to be seen to be less important. We're also going to talk about some assessments and use assessments that employers just wish they could use, but they can't. We use them to help you reach a new level of clarity and preparedness, and it's all backed by 5,000 years of science. This isn't left to chance. This is evidence-based, science-based approaches to understanding ourselves and each other and making a difference today to help you in your search. Because there's probably some things that you're not aware of. I mean, this whole job search process is very stressful, and for a lot of us, it's impacting us. But I think, and you might not realize that everybody, especially employers, can see how stressed you are. It is showing in the way you carry yourself. Does it show in your face and especially in your eyes? Can they hear it in your voice? Are you a walking job repellent because they feel your stress? As much as we try to cover this stuff up and we try to put a good face on it, we wear it, right? I mean, it's inside of us. It's very difficult sometimes to not bring that in. We're going to help you address those challenges and issues that you might not even be aware of today. Because the bottom line is, what we got to remember is that people may not remember what you said when you meet them, but they will remember how you make them feel. So, if you're leaving them with an impression or a feeling that is not positive, they're going to walk away with not a good experience. We can help you reclaim your natural radiance. This is something that, again, most assessments aren't going to be able to do. We've got a science and a proven approach that we can help you do that. We can help you speak with confidence and carry yourself with ease. You will look relaxed. People will want to be around you. The bottom line is you're going to learn to be your most valuable asset. And I think one of the outcomes of this too is if you really are struggling with the idea of what is the right role for you, this process is going to help you too, because I think we can help you find that clarity of focus to get to understand what that role is for you. The second shift is called Demystifying Your Branding, Resumes, Cover Letters, and LinkedIn Profiles. Let's talk a little bit about some of the facts of those before we jump into ideas and fixing on. But the fact is that many recruiters, probably most, only spend about 6 seconds on your resume. Yeah, isn't that crazy? We'll spend hours stressing over them. We'll pay, I've seen people pay thousands of dollars to get a professional resume done. And by all means, I'm not suggesting you don't spend good money to get it done right, but the fact is, you got 6 seconds to impress them, and are you doing it in the right way to make the most of that time, so they spend more time with you? Cover letters generally are a waste of time, and the vast majority probably hurt your ability to get hired. Again, we stress about those too, but so many of us, and I've read thousands and thousands of them. Unfortunately, almost all of them read the same. And I think, when we're going to keep doing the same kind of a thing, what's happening? Well, I'll just ignore it. And as a matter of fact, I really think they can hurt you more than they can help you when done wrong. So LinkedIn profiles, I think, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with these as well. But here's some facts. 95% of recruiters use social media to find candidates. It's just a simple fact. And 48% of them, almost half of them now, are only using LinkedIn. There's over 20,000 companies on LinkedIn today. So if you're searching for companies, I'm not so sure this is the place to be looking for companies. Here's also something interesting. A current LinkedIn profile. I mean, that's something that's up to date and cleaned up and relevant to what's going on today in your professional life is 18 times more likely to be found by a recruiter and employers. So if your profile hasn't been touched in months or even years, what's it probably telling you? It's probably having a great impact on your ability to be discovered. So you could be doing it wrong. Resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles will not get you the job, right? Those are just tools in the process. But used wrong, it will prevent you from getting noticed and past HR or a recruiter. So it's like sort of the opposite with true with a lot of these things. It's not going to get you the job at the end of the day, but it's going to be your roadblock to getting you in an opportunity to get in front of a hiring manager. Here's the good news, though. Everybody is doing it wrong. Everybody is doing it wrong. So when somebody does it well, they stand out. We're all looking for a competitive advantage. We're looking for something different. Here you go. This is a great way to separate yourself. So this is a little visual about the path to an employer. It's something that seems a little simpler than it really is, but there is a process that I've leveraged now for years now, a step-by-step process, and it really is like a building block process. It starts with the clarity and focus we talked about. Then we use a tool we call personal inventory. It really begins to help us identify all these pieces that really we need to get in front of us. And then we're going to talk about different kinds of resumes, a dragon slaying a resume. There's a bunch of other catchphrases we could use, but resumes that get people's attention. And I think, again, a lot of resumes, I think, have a negative impact, not a positive impact. We're going to find ways not only to reduce the negative stuff, but we're going to help create resumes that actually get read. We're also going to introduce you to a different kind of a cover letter. These, well, like I said, most cover letters are just totally ineffective and a waste of time and probably hurting. We're going to talk about a different way of writing a cover letter that is going to get their attention, is going to get a higher manager's attention. It's a bit of a selling method. We're really excited by that. We've seen tremendous results in. So then we're going to talk about LinkedIn profiles too and help you create a compelling, discoverable profile. LinkedIn is really, think about it, a resume is a one-to-one kind of a communication tool. LinkedIn is a one-to-many. If you're not fully leveraging that, you're sort of not doing your marketing. And that's probably one of the, best ways for you to get discovered and found. But there is a process, there is a path. It's a proven path used time and time again. The exact pieces of it change a little bit depending on the person, so no two people are exactly the same. But the step-by-step process is been proven over and over. So the science and strategy of your brand will also provide you with the science and strategy to help you empower you to take control over your brand. So this is a pretty darn important thing or idea to get your head wrapped around. We certainly believe in, and I think it's important to get help with things like your resume and your cover letter. And we're not all good at copy editing and layout, page layout design, and we're not going to teach everybody how to be perfect at those things. But what you cannot give up ownership of is your brand. I mean, it is you. It is who you are, and you need to own that. And your ability to own that needs to be then communicated to whoever you help to build those tools. Yes, it's marketing. It's a very specific kind of marketing. It's a form of selling and marketing that even most marketers and salespeople are doing wrong. Here's a little story I want to pick on Brooke here. Brooke is an extremely accomplished manager of a large team of creative marketing people. She herself is an extremely creative person. She spent 10 years at a very good-sized company, leading a large team of about 40, and unfortunately got caught up in a layoff situation. So for the first time, really, in probably her professional career, she's faced with the challenge now of finding something new. So the challenge of branding herself and how to write that right resume, she just didn't have time to go in and reinvent the wheel. So we spent some time with her to show her a path, show her our approach. And I'm not going to take credit there. She is an extremely accomplished person. She took those ideas and ran with it. She did not spend very much time sitting waiting for job offers to come in. They came to her. But I guess the example is here's somebody that is an accomplished marketer and learned something from our processes. So we can teach you how to do it right, stand out, get noticed, be memorable, and be discoverable. All right, next up in talking about shifts, the third shift is the job search processes are broken. Probably the most common thing of all the shifts, we all see it, it's just frustrating for so many of us. And guess what? It's not working for anybody, including employers. You know what? We're going to teach you some tricks that I think that employers are going to appreciate in this process because they are frustrated. But you know, the evidence and statistics speak for themselves, and here's just a few. Less than 1% or less than 1 out of every 10 resumes submitted to a job board actually get reviewed by a person. Yeah, only 10% of them somebody's putting their eyes on and looking at. All that work. But you know, the reality job boards are sort of designed to do that. You know, especially the larger companies that are using all kinds of screening tools, and you maybe hear artificial intelligence. Don't ask me if it's going to work or how effective it's going to be. But the bottom line is very few people very few of them are actually being looked at. The other thing is that for a lot of us, the job board feels like a black hole, right? Less than 3% of applicants get any kind of human response from applying to a job board. And when I mean a human response, I mean it's not a candid note saying thanks for applying or sorry, but it's really an actual human is responding back from your application that you submitted. Only 3% of applicants are getting a response. The other thing too that I think we probably realize, but it's statistically proven that there is a hidden job market. 70% of all jobs never get posted. You don't find about them on anywhere. You know, they're just not posted somewhere. Most of us are focused on that 30% that showing up on a job board. And while we're not going to walk away, we will find strategies to help you leverage that 30% too. The challenge really is to broaden that search and reach more of the network, more of the job market. So what are some of those processes? Well, it starts with clarity and focus. Right? We cut down on the waste and the time you're spending right now on a job search. We're going to show you ways to discover effective ways to use the job boards. Yes, there are effective ways. We're going to help you to discover strategies to reach hiring managers. There's sort of two buckets. One is to help you get past HR or even to get HR to put eyes on it, actual eyes on it, and pull it out of the pile. The other area is to help you tap into what we talked about is that hidden job market, the 70% of jobs that aren't listed somewhere. We'll also talk about discovering effective strategies to be more effective with networking. Networking is, especially at these senior levels, is a critical piece of this whole thing. It's a love-hate kind of a thing. Most of us don't like doing it, and I think many people are doing it the wrong way. Or we've got some processes that are much more effective. So let's talk a little bit about networking, because I think it is a pain point here for many. Many people will tell you once you're out of work that to reach out to your network and tell everyone you are looking for work. Seems to make sense, right? Get all the help you can. But here's the thing is that nobody knows how to help you, right? I mean, some people are going to give you some advice. Well, here, have you talked to so-and-so, or, oh, I saw a job over here, or they'll give you some initial reaction. But, I mean, nobody's got the recipe to this here. So most people don't know how to help you. And really what happens, it becomes depressing, right? To me, it's depressing for them. I mean, they may have found themselves in a job search in the past, and it brings up bad memories. And they certainly don't want it to happen to them. So what happens is, and I've experienced this myself, is that they start to hide from you. They start to avoid you. Here is a simple fact about networking. It's not the person that you need to talk to may not actually be in the room, right? So you're networking, you're working with all these people, the people that you know, but really the goal is not to convince them necessarily to get a job. Maybe sometimes you can find somebody that is in your network that is going to give you the job. Oftentimes, though, it's somebody that you don't know yet, and they're not in the room. And so if you think about that, then the goal really is how do you get through that person to that next opportunity, and how do you help them to make that connection as well. Now let's talk a little bit too about the role of introverts, and I don't like to stress about this too much because I think it's way overused. But I am an introvert, so I can speak to this a little bit. That networking is exhausting, and getting in front of a bunch of people is exhausting, and not usually the first thing we want to do. But generally, I think, most introverts are actually very good communicators. I mean, I believe I am, and especially one-on-one. But the thing about it for that, I think is great for introverts to know is that there are effective processes. And generally, introverts excel when there is a clear process because we can execute on that. Extroverts who tend to be a little more comfortable dealing with people and out there in social situations, there's still opportunities for you to be aware of your approach to be more effective. All right, so we covered 3 things so far. The first shift was getting clarity. The second is demystifying your brand. The third shift was the job search process. So let's talk about the fourth shift, and that's going to be about the reverse interview. So, okay, so congrats, you got that interview. Really, the interview is probably the most critical phase here of the process of getting hired. All of your hard work really culminates to get that point. 1 hour, probably sometimes less, often decided in the first 10 minutes. I mean, that's how we are. We are people, and those impressions happen pretty quickly. So the goal is how do you make the most of those first 10, 15 minutes so you can extend that conversation and don't change the dynamics around, and sometimes we can even turn those around later in the interview process. So we're going to talk about how to do that. Because here's the bottom line, and this is probably counterintuitive because most of us, and we're all conditioned to think about the interview. Employers do this too, that it's all about the candidate, right? It's the opportunity for the candidate to shine, to talk about themselves, to say how good they are, to go on and on and on about all the wonderful things they've done. And even the interview process is sort of set up to do that. However, here's the big surprise. It's really not about you. They don't care about you. And I don't say that to be sensationalistic or rude or mean. It is simply, the truth. It's human nature. They don't care about you. What they do care is that it's about what you can do for them. They're offering you a job, right? And they're going to pay you to do it. And what they want to know is, can you do it? Can you take care of these responsibilities? Can you help fix these problems and these challenges? And your goal is to convince them that, yes, I can take care of those problems and I can take care of those challenges. And I see these opportunities and I can take care of this job. So it's a mind shift of thinking about the interview, and they're going to teach you how to do that in a very proactive way. So you really thinking again about the interview process and the attraction process, right? So keeping that in mind, we can use this principle of questioning to do it in reverse, so that you are attracting that interviewer to you through the questions and your approach in the interview. The sense of curiosity, the sense of connection, that you're really interested in them as a person and their company, I think goes a long ways for you to build that connection. The other thing to think about this whole process is that it really is also applies to the networking process. We apply some of these very same skills in this reverse interviewing to help you get hired. So last shift, number 5, certainly not least, it's a very important one, is really investing in mentoring. Mentors can see where you need to improve, often where you cannot. Find ways to stimulate our personal and professional growth, offer encouragement, and help us keep on going. Our sounding boards, so we can bounce ideas off of them for an unfiltered opinion. Our trusted advisors hold us accountable. Huge, right? We need, at times, people to hold us accountable. They also can be great connectors and have the experience you can learn from to prevent from making the same mistakes. So don't go it alone. I think it's the fundamental difference with most successful people, from athletes to politicians to CEOs to, most of the most successful people have help. And really it's about investing in yourself and being responsible. You have a responsibility to yourself and the people you care for to invest in you. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and get the $100,000 personal trainer. Maybe someday you can, but there are a lot of cost-effective resources around us to be using and tapping into. Okay, so let's review here. Today I promised how to get the focus and clarity of the roles you love and have employers convinced you are the perfect fit. How to leverage employment assessments to work for you, not against you. How to create your branding and effectively use resumes and cover letters so that hiring managers will want you on their team. How to create and maintain a LinkedIn profile that attracts recruiters, HR professionals, and hiring managers. How to interview with confidence. Discover the hidden job market. These 5 shifts are all you need to get hired. What you need to win, review one more time. The first shift, crystal clarity. Second shift, demystifying your branding. Third shift, the job search processes are broken. We got to find new ways. Fourth shift, the reverse interview, how to make the most of that final phase of the process. And the fifth shift is this commitment to investing in ourselves and mentoring. Now you have a choice. Chances are, if you are here watching this, you have already invested a lot of time and frustration in this process. You have been experiencing the broken job market. If you continue to do the same thing, right, Einstein's theory, how likely is it that you will continue to keep having the same experience? Or is it now the time for you to do something about it? How I can help. My team and I have set aside the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can apply these ideas. Or whatever you're experiencing, we've seen it. On this session, we will craft a step-by-step game plan for attracting employers to you. We'll conduct a mock interview and give you the direct feedback on how these ideas apply to you. Think about that, right? I mean, we're not held back. We don't have to follow some guidelines that a lot of employers have to. We're going to give you the real meat of what's going on in an interview and give you that feedback. And here it is. The cost is free. We think this is just too important, too transformational not to share this with you. And we want to make this investment. Another resource for you, real quickly, the Science of Getting Hired. It's a free Facebook and LinkedIn group. I welcome you to join that. It's a group of other like-minded professionals and executives experience the same thing. Finally, here's your link to make that connection with me and my team. I'll leave this up for a second. Would love an opportunity to sit down with you, talk about how these 5 shifts apply specifically to you, and talk about how those results would be and how impactful that would be in your life. These are extremely exciting sessions. So I greatly appreciate your time today. I feel very blessed to have the opportunity to bring this to you. So with that, I wish you the best in your efforts, and I truly hope that we're able to speak soon. Thank you. David Midnight saying good day.